Welcome to the Sherpa Chalet on Mount Podcastia, where it's time for podcast picks with Jim the Podcast Sherpa. You'll get to hear about podcast recommendations for your podcast playlist, along with occasional interviews with other podcasters and video hosts. Now waiting for you is your host, Jim the Podcast Sherpa. He's just like you imagined. But don't worry, we'll make it up to you somehow.
This week, on Podcast Picks with Jim the Podcast Sherpa, it's an unfiltered conversation with Burnz Sativa, the host of the Stupid People with Pets podcast. We love animals here at the Sherpa Chalet. The other day, my friend told me their dog could retrieve an item from a mile away, but that sounds a bit far-fetched to me.
Welcome to the Sherpa's Podcast Picks. It's the podcast about, podcasts. And now, coming to you from Mount Podcastia, here's your host who wonders what's on your podcast playlist, Jim the Podcast Sherpa.
Hello there, rebels of the Sherpalution, and welcome to Podcast Picks with Jim the Podcast Sherpa. That's me coming to you from Sherpalu Studios here in the Sherpa Chalet, high atop Mount Podcastia, where I overlook the millions and millions of podcasts that are out there. Welcome to Wednesday, where this is the debut of a new episode. I'll give you a warning right off the bat with this introduction. There's a lot of swearing in this. Not from me, from my guest, but he's very passionate. His name is Burnz Sativa, and he's coming to us from Pennsylvania. He hosts a podcast called Stupid People with Pets, and he's just really passionate about doing right by animals. And a lot of his podcasts are just discussion of all the dumb things that people do. And I'm sure you've probably been out on the street and you see things that you're like, why are they doing this with a dog or a cat? And it's just enough to make you scratch your head. Well, this man sees all this stuff and he takes all that rage and puts it into his podcast. So we got to hang out for a little while and I got to know him a little bit. We did a lot of laughing. He did a lot of swearing. I would say mission accomplished for this interview. So let's have a very uncensored listen to my interview with Burnz Sativa, the host of Stupid People with Pets. Hello there, rebels. We are here in the non-animal cruelty room because my guest this week is a guy from Pennsylvania. His name is Burnz Sativa, Mr. Burnz Sativa, rather. We have to be official here. And he's the host of a podcast called Stupid People with Pets. And he's going to hang out with us and we're going to get to know him a little bit. Burnz?
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the show, Mr. Burnz.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the invite. Please don't bore me, because I'm going to talk shit if you bore me. Don't bore me.
Okay.
Hang out like we're on the streets together. We're drinking beer or watching football and talk shit. That's what I want.
Okay.
So let's go. Don't bore me. Let's go.
Okay. So what caused you to want to do a podcast like this, talking about stupid people and their pets?
Two reasons.
Okay.
First, I love animals.
Okay.
It seems like the older I got, I fell more in love with them. Like my kids are gone, living their life, and I had a new appreciation for the animals. Like I train my dogs. My dogs are they do whatever I tell them to do.
Okay.
But then I started watching people online with these dogs and these cruelty. And one of them made me cry like a bitch. Then I just pissed me the fuck off. Let me run my mouth. And I was just, it went from there, and it went from there. And I see that animals don't got no fucking voice. Let me be their voice for them. How about that?
Okay, well, like, I guess if you're going to be their voice, they're not going to have a subtle voice then, are they?
That's right. Hell no. That's right. I like that. That's right.
So what kind of dog do you have?
Okay, I got a pit bull, and I got a Cane Corso pit mix, and I got a cat. I got mice in the house somewhere trying to catch the motherfuckers. That about it?
Okay. So do pit bulls really deserve the reputation that they're given?
No, man. They were actually back then called nanny dogs, okay? And they were they're family oriented. It's just these motherfuckers just give them a bad name. Just who they're bred for fighting. No, I don't care. My dogs are great. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Chico, he's not friendly, but I know that. Okay?
Okay.
I train him to be like that because if I'm going to go out, you got a job to do. You protect the house. Now, the other one is different. He's just a big pushover. Yeah, they get a bad name. Think about this. Years ago, back in the day, Doberman Pictures had a bad name when I was younger.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that is
So
true.
it's a phase, and I don't know. Then I hear the shit that was going on in the UK with the American bullies, and they were taking them away from man. I dare you take away my dog. If my dog didn't do nothing to you, I dare you.
Do you mean they were just seizing them randomly, or
No, these people. Come again?
were they just the police just seizing the dogs
Yeah,
randomly?
there was a big thing in the UK.
I didn't know this.
It was huge. People were making a big deal, but it didn't get big here in America in the news. But in UK, it was horrible. They were taking people's dogs away just because they had American bullies, just because they were bullies, not because what they did anything, it's because they were because they were bullies.
Yeah, and I guess they just went with the presumption that they were going to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, horrible, fucking horrible.
Yeah, it's funny because I had a neighbor who had what they call a pocket bull, because it's like part bulldog and part something else. He wasn't sure of what the other
A pocket bully? It's called a pocket bully.
Yeah, pocket bully. Okay, and the dog, if you looked at it, looked like vicious, but he was a love. He loved people. His tail was always wagging. He would lick your face.
Well, that's what one thing I frown upon too is when you start breeding to make the dog a certain thing. Like now that you see a lot of the dogs with no fucking hair, no fur. Get the fuck out my face, man. You bred the dog to have no fur? Like, what the fuck? And then you bred the dog to be small as a pocket bully? How do you know later on in life you're gonna have fucking fucked up bones and shit? He wasn't meant to be that small. Like, I don't like that crossbreeding shit. This is me to fuck off too. Because they're not made to be loved. They're made to be an accessory.
Yeah, and when you think about it, because dogs evolved from wolves, as everyone knows, but to pick a dog from that point and then crossbreed them or genetically modify them.
Yep.
I see your point. It's a very valid point.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing to what we call man's best friend?
Exactly. They were perfect how they were. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, when it comes to adoption, I don't believe we should adopt the dogs. Let the dogs come up to us. If that dog comes up to you, that's your dog. It'll make that bonding significant, that you have a group of people around and just let that dog go to. See who that dog goes to first. And that'll bring animal cruelty a lot down. It'll bring adoption much better. Think about it. The dog is going to the person and like, oh, he chose me out of everybody. They'll see things like that. It's an animal thing. Stop running the motherfuckers.
Yeah, and even during like COVID, that was a big thing where because people were like, oh, I'm home, so we'll have a dog. And then all of a sudden, when they went back to work, the dogs didn't get the attention that they were used to. And then I'm sure, it changed the dynamic in the house.
Yeah, I know. It's a fucking sad story. Sad as hell. In America, we got fucking 60% of Americans have pets. Think about that.
Yeah.
60% of Americans have pets.
Absolutely.
They should fucking vote.
Okay, so what if you're? I know that you're not exactly subtle, but what are some of your biggest pet peeves? Pardon the pun on pet ownership. What people do that really tick you off?
For dogs or cats, which one?
Any animal you can.
For dogs, they don't train them.
Okay.
That's big. That's a huge thing because the relationship is much better. You teach that dog to be safe. Show him how to be responsible so he's not running across the street doing fuck shit over there or fucking that dog over there or destroying that dog and train your dog. If you love him, train him.
Yeah.
If you love that motherfucker, train him.
The responsibility ultimately falls on the owner.
Yeah. And then with the cats, people who get too many of them motherfuckers and only got one kitty litter box. Fuck that. You ever been in a person's house when they get like 10 cats and only one box?
Yeah, that kind of goes above my head, Mr. Burnz.
Man, I'll tell you a quick story, man. I went to the chick's house back when I was younger. It was like a blind date. As soon as I walk into her house, that smell of ammonia just smacked me in my face. I'm like, what the fuck do I do? I tried my best. I didn't want to sit down nowhere. I didn't want to touch anything. I didn't want to do none of that shit. And but being the man that I was back then, before I left, I had to hit it. But her house just stunk. It was just shitty and all. I just hate that we got all the motherfucking animals and you don't care for them properly. How they treat their animals is a reflection of who they are.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
They say you always look at how people treat children and animals, and that really gives you
Bingo.
Peek into their inner soul.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And if you see somebody's car that's dirty as fuck, Their house is dirty.
Oh, yeah.
Their house is dirty.
It was funny. A long time ago, I worked with this guy, and I won't say his name, but every time you saw him, he was in a three-piece suit, had the handlebar mustache, the hair neatly combed. But like when you saw his car, it looked like it came out of the junkyard. It's like you're probably not dating much, are you? Or at least you're like, oh,
That's funny. All right, Sherpa. What's your next question?
okay. My next
Guide me to the next question.
do like your listeners? Do they contact you and ask you questions?
Yeah, a lot. I got a lot of fucking pet companies contacting me and shit.
Really?
Think about this. I talk like I'm a regular on the street, and you got the motherfuckers contacting me in the email. I'm real. I'm not gonna let anybody come on my show, especially I don't like what you're presenting because I got myself to think about because man, I'm about to shit on somebody. I don't even care. Like I would never let Free be my sponsor. Sorry, I don't believe in that. I don't like their product. Why the fuck am I gonna take money from somebody if I don't believe in their product?
Okay.
I ain't that man.
Okay. Well, I guess that actually raises another good question. So, what methods do you use to like feed your animals and everything like that? Or is there any special types of recipes?
Well, actually, my dogs are spoiled. So I do make a lot of my food in the crock pot for them. I'm dead serious. Like I use brown rice, sweet potatoes.
You know, you're kind of contradicting yourself when you're saying this, right?
But technically, dogs can have brown rice. They can have sweet potato. Man, I'm gonna give you an answer. I'm gonna give you a great answer, okay? And it's always ground meat, either turkey or chicken, right? And it's cooked. There's no flavor in it. Maybe a little bit of cumin and parsley. But the reason why I do that, I love my dogs, and their job is you living the best life you're living. I'm in your world at this time. You live rent free. You sleep wherever the fuck you want to sleep at in the house. When it comes to protect the family, you better die for me. You live free. You live good. That's my babies, you understand? But to give them anything like kibbles, nah, fuck kibbles. Can't do it. Now, I might give them raw chicken, you know what I mean? Liver, gizzards, and shit like that, but nah. I want, they'll live longer. My dog's balls ain't cut. I don't believe in fucking fixing them. I don't believe in fixing my dogs. Because back in the day, as a kid, I never heard of that shit. Back then, dogs lived for like 15, 20 years. Now these motherfuckers getting their balls cut. They look like fat sausages, okay? They're always going to the vet. No. I'm very observant. I don't give the fuck you tell me. Why in the fuck are you cutting them dogs' balls off? Oh, team, no the fuck it doesn't. Shut up. It's a big scam. I don't even care. I know how dogs act when they have the balls. When they don't, they look different. You look at an animal and a dog that has his balls, they look different. Their body looks like a man.
Yeah. I was just going to say.
That's right. Cut his balls off. That's right, you fat bitch. That's what you look like, man. I already know. So no, if you're a dog, you cut your dog balls, I mean, you're lazy, you're bums. I don't like it. Deal with it. You know what I mean? Work them. Simple to burn a dog's energy. Let their brain work. Work their brains and get tired quick.
Yeah. That is an interesting approach. I was going to say, when you were talking about the food and cooking, would you consider like going into business, say, with a company, maybe like working with a veterinarian or something like that?
Yep.
You would? Okay.
Yep. Of course. Yeah, that's a great one. Mm-hmm.
Well, do you know what you'd call it? Do you have like something in?
No, I actually no.
No? Okay.
You'd
have to work on that.
Yeah, sense. The food.
I would say, I think with your name, you could probably come up with an interesting brand name.
No, that's funny. They better not let me put a title on there.
like Mr. Burnz Bits or something like that. What part of Pennsylvania?
I'm across the river from Harrisburg.
Okay.
Right across the river from Harrisburg.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, I've never been to Harrisburg, but I've traversed the state.
Where?
By Philadelphia.
Okay. I back when I started my transport company, I had to drive to Philadelphia Airport all the time. Fuck that. I started hiring people. I hate the fucking traffic there.
I've heard stories. I've never been in Philadelphia, but I've heard enough stories. You were saying like when people pick out their pets and stuff like that. Do you think that there's like a way that because people really have to be aware of
Yeah,
the dog of like dogs, they have to know like their nature and there are certain dogs that are better suited to the outside. Like you want to have like a yard. Like you don't want a big yard, a big dog in a small apartment,
Well, I'm in the process of organizing. I'm trying to get in contact with this shelter. We're in talks back and forth, but it seems like I'm too busy to return. That's my fuck up. But anyways, I was thinking I wanted to run by it that put an advertisement. I'll do it out there, and we have run an application for the people and have let the dog adopt a human. So this is the requirement to get, because if you know what type of dogs you have there that you're gonna try to adopt out. Now you can put the advertisement. Hey, all right, you gotta have this size, this type of living. And where I live at in Pennsylvania, yeah, people got yards and stuff like that. It can be
Right.
well done. But I want the dogs to adopt the person, and then it's in that inside it'll bring more people to go adopt. Like I don't understand how Florida you could get your cats fixed or dogs fixed or the shots given to them, and it's no cost. Go to PA, there's a cost, but yet you see why you got a cat problem. Stray cat problem. You see that? And why nobody wants to go adopt a cat? You gotta go pay for that? Or if they find a cat off the road, they'll go bring it in to get it. They gotta pay for that? You draw people away dealing with strays or adopted animals when you gotta pay for it. Florida's doing it. How come they doing it perfectly? They don't got a stray problem. People go get their animals fixed into the vet and they don't gotta pay literally nothing. Go to PA, different story.
You think there should be like a healthcare plan for animals?
Sure. There's a talk about you putting them on your taxes, right?
Right. I mean, you are ultimately supporting them. And I mean, especially some people more
That's
so
right.
than others.
That's right. That's right. And if they could be used as an emotional support and anything that was psychiatric, then put them on the taxes.
That is true. I guess that I never really thought about it in that light, but that is definitely a valid point because you're really almost employing the dog at that point.
Yep.
If you've got like psychological problems and you
Yep.
need that.
Yep.
So, it should be to a person's maybe financial advantage if it's going to help them survive during the course of the week.
That's right. That's right. Huh? That's true. No, I was all about to talk shit. You about to yawn? You're yawning?
No, I wasn't doing
I thought you were yawning. I'm like, you yawning, but yeah, you invited me this late at night.
I'm wide awake, unlike you. So you're the tired one between the two. I get to stay up till 10 o'clock sometimes.
I'm the one that go to bed quick. My fiance now, she can stay up all night. And how I get her, I put a TV show on or a movie and she won't go to bed until she finishes it. Got her. That's if I want to play Call of Duty with my best friend in Georgia. I know how to get her. Maybe gotta go in the room, yeah. Put a movie on before she go to bed.
Do you do the trick where like you sit down and like they say that they're not tired and they insist on watching something and then all of a sudden 10 minutes in they're down to sleep?
No, I'm the one that falls asleep.
You're the one who falls asleep.
Yeah. And wake back up 30 seconds later and she'll start laughing. I was asleep. It was snoring. I don't know. I got narcolepsy, some type of shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know exactly what was happening. I was just resting my eyes.
That's right. I was thinking. How did that be thought? We got a lot of bills coming up.
When you see like strays and stuff like that in the street, because I'm sure you probably,
Yeah.
What do you do anything about it? Do you contact authorities? Do you let them live? Okay,
well, we got some alley cats around here, right? It's strange. They won't let you go up to them, and I see them, but I do put stuff on the porch if they're gonna eat. You know what I mean? It's hard to get next to a stray if they don't want you to grab them. So what the fuck can you do? You know what I mean? And they're not gonna come around here to pick it up and say, if you call out, it doesn't work like that out here.
Yeah.
You gotta catch them. So when you catch them and bring it to them, now you gotta pay. Yeah.
Okay.
No. I'll help them out. Look at a can, the tuna fish there or something. Oh well, they'll eat.
But the one problem with strays is they're gonna keep coming back. I mean, is that
Not
like a
really.
responsibility you want to
Let me
take
tell you
on?
why. I got 2 dogs.
Yeah.
And the only time you see them come around is once in a while because my dogs are, the cats are not dumb. Cats are not dumb. They're they're real smart. Yep, not from them.
Okay. That's fair enough. What about like a stray dog though?
You don't see that here.
And not too many. Not
No, not at where I'm at. No, I never saw. Nope, not here. 20 years I've been here. I haven't seen a stray dog now one bit. Oh, cat?
that's interesting though, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, Florida, hell yeah, Florida, a lot of stray dogs. But here, no.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't really see too many by where I am either.
Mhm. Yeah. But you see cats, right?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
We have one that's underneath our apartment that howls all night. It's like,
Now they
geez,
got
thanks for not letting me sleep.
Now they got an African cat they have African bred with domestic cats in Baltimore. The cats are big like dogs. Look, I'm dead serious. You see, look up on
Like
the
a
news.
lynx, like that kind of size.
That type of big.
Wow.
The cat, it looks like an average sized dog, but it's a cat. They bought it from Africa, let them out loose. They inbred it with the domestic alley cats. Now they're running around looking like dogs.
That's a little scary.
Yeah. That's like Florida and the snakes.
Right.
Same thing. Yep. Fucking shit, people. Stupid people with pets. When pets make sense and people don't. Like, what the fuck? Like, how would you actually just let that cat run? Do you see how dumb that is? You bought a cat from Africa and let him go? I don't want this bitch. What? How he's gonna live? Yeah, that's why I get pissed off. That's just bananas.
Okay, what's one pet that you wouldn't own? Is there anything
A pet I wouldn't own?
that you wouldn't own?
A tarantula.
Tarantula? Okay.
I
You don't like
care.
spiders.
I don't care about them. I
Okay.
don't think they're awesome. Hold on. No, fuck no. Snake, yeah, lizard, guinea pigs, gerbils. I don't give a fuck. Birds. But not a spider.
I once saw people who owned a llama. Like,
Okay, I would do that.
Why would you want to? But don't llamas like spit at people?
But did they have a lot of land?
Yeah, they had like
Okay,
a yard
okay,
and stuff.
then
So
do
yeah,
that.
it wasn't like in an apartment or anything like
Okay,
that.
that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
That's what always freaks me out when you hear these stories in the news where it's like, oh, this guy had an alligator or a tiger in his apartment in the Bronx. It was like, what?
Why? Hey man, come to my house. I gotta show you something.
Okay.
Show you something. And you got a tiger in your house. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. Hey man, I got something to show you in my house. Well, he lived on the 6th floor in the projects in New York, and he had a cat. A fucking tiger. No, that's dumb. I understand what you're talking about. People do that dumb shit. Dumb shit.
Well, didn't they have like a documentary a few years ago about a guy that lived with bears? I think was it bears or tigers? And in the end, like the bears killed the guy and ate him.
No, the tigers.
They were tigers.
Yeah, and then you see the cops come and start shooting the tigers too.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
it was
thought you said
tigers.
it was bears.
Years ago. That was how many years ago? But I could have. Yeah, it was tigers. Yeah, it was fucking tigers.
Yeah. Don't put a tiger in your apartment, rebels.
No,
they don't know how to
he
share
didn't
the
have an
bathroom.
apartment. He had a yard with fence enclosures, and he had different tigers in there. Fuck her. How about the lady that got her face ripped off and she had a chimpanzee?
Yeah.
What a donkey.
Yeah, you can't have like they're cute when they're tiny. When they grow up, they're vicious. They can rip your nose off. Literally.
Yeah, that's right, bro. That's right. And I'm gonna say the truth. That was her fault. I don't blame the monkey and the ape. That was your fault. You shouldn't have them.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have.
Well, can we agree that just leave the zoo animals in the zoo? That's probably the best thing to do. And I know people will argue about if they're being ethically treated, but as opposed to being domesticated, no.
Yeah, that's true.
I have to go feed my elephant now. You know?
Right.
Stop it. Just stop it.
Yeah, leave it.
Okay, then we have a portion of the show, and it is called Shameless Self-Promotion. And Mr. Burnz, this is where you can let our listeners know where they can find you.
All you have to do is Google Stupid People with Pets or Mr. Burnz Sativa on Instagram, X, TikTok, website, Stupid People with Pets. There's only one. Stupid People with Pets. That's all. I'm easy to find on all platforms, and there's only one Mr. Burnz. That's me.
Okay, there he is, Mr. Burnz Sativa. Again, the podcast is called Stupid People with Pets. We got to get rid of these stupid people. We got to do something about it.
That's right. Tell me about it. Yeah.
All right, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Well, I appreciate them anytime, man. Anytime, Sherpa.
It looks like the Sherpa is no longer locked in the bathroom at the Sherpa Chalet, so we can finally get back to the show.
Thanks so much to Burnz Sativa for coming on the show. Make sure you check out his podcast. If you want to hear someone who's just as passionate about animals as you are, he really brings up a lot of good points in that conversation too, didn't you notice? And maybe it's a show that you might want to add to your podcast playlist. And If it isn't, I'll tell you what, next week I'll be back here with some Sherpa Selects. I'll have checked out a bunch more podcasts that maybe might interest you, and you can throw those on the podcast playlist. Hopefully, this podcast is on your podcast playlist, and maybe you're following us on social media at Sherpalution on Instagram, Threads, or TikTok. And of course, you can hear the show on podcast apps, where maybe that's where you're listening right now, or our YouTube Sherpalution page. There's no video. You're welcome. And until then, I say to you, rebels, viva la Sherpalution.
Thanks for listening to the Sherpa's Podcast Picks. The podcast is now over. Please disperse and tell everyone about us. As long as they don't put us back in jail. Viva la Sherpalution!